Don't act so high and mighty over such a small amount. Never deal with me again. Old hag, go home! If you're going to say that, I have my thoughts too. Fine, I'll go home. Gladly. There's a line often heard in TV dramas. There's not a single parent in this world who doesn't think about their child's happiness. But looking at the world today, this line rings hollow. And now, looking at my own child, I can say there are parents who don't think about their child's happiness. My name is Sissy Giddens. I lost my husband and have been raising my only son, Devin, who is now 29. Devin has been living on his own for many years. I live alone in a big house. I have enough savings, though I don't need to work, and I'm not struggling with life. One day, Devin brought his girlfriend home and introduced her. This is Rosemary. She's a petite and lovely young lady, only 23 years old. Nice to meet you. I'm Rosemary. Thank you for having me. I feel relieved when she greets me politely. I want to believe that Devin made the right choice. Upon listening, I learned that a new life is already growing inside her. The two applied at the city hall and started their newlywed life without a wedding ceremony. Then Lucas was born. I heard that grandchildren are cute, but he's truly adorable. I offered to help with childcare. Rosemary must be having a hard time working too. We're family, so don't hesitate to ask for help when things are tough. Thank you, that helps a lot. Rosemary really didn't hesitate. On weekends, she asked me to take care of the child so she and Devin could go to the club. Indeed, they can't go to a club with a baby. They're both still young, and I'm happy to be with my grandson, so I gladly agreed. However, Devin and Rosemary started leaving the child with me every week to go to the club. Wait a minute, every week is a bit much for me. You're the one who said not to hesitate, right? Were you lying when you said you were happy to be with Lucas? I reluctantly agreed. Time flies and Lucas celebrated his first birthday. Unlike when he was a baby, now he walks around, and I can't take my eyes off him for a second. It would be terrible if he got burned or injured. When he turned 2, he started playing in the park more than inside the house. I'm not young, so I'm desperate to keep up with my running grandson. The two who used to go to the club every week now started leaving Lucas with me, even on weekdays. Hey, Rosemary, what about work? I'm working, she replied, but it didn't seem like she was working. She's out for lunch with friends, watching movies, shopping, and having fun all day. I thought this was not good, so I talked to Devin alone. Rosemary is leaving Lucas with me even during the weekdays and playing around. Until a child is about 3, receiving a parent's love is incredibly important. It's not just a theory, you know. The memory of being hugged tightly by a mother even when you're an adult. Shut up! While I was seriously talking about something important, Devin blatantly cut me off with a disgusted look. A man's job is everything. The workplace is a battlefield and I'm a warrior. I'm mentally on the edge at work, so don't bother me with unnecessary things. You don't understand how tough it is to be a salesman. Are you trying to send me to the afterlife with stress? I was left speechless. It's your child, isn't it? I'm always fighting enemies as a man. Do you understand? You probably don't. Man. Women work too. Your thinking and jokes are outdated, even though you're young. You're making me blush, saying that to my face. This is not good. It's becoming a situation where they could be accused of neglecting childcare. When Lucas turned 3, Rosemary, who wasn't working, strangely enrolled him in a childcare center, and it became my duty to drop him off and pick him up. Devin won't listen to my complaints, and Rosemary just puts her hands together with a tearful face. Please, mother-in-law, I really appreciate your help. Since my grandson Lucas is not at fault, I not only played with him, but also read picture books to him. I even taught him to read and write the alphabet. Still, the situation continues, where he has almost no time with his parents, and my worries never cease. I hope he grows up healthy, but the anxiety grows when I imagine him becoming a bad child due to parental neglect. Some children become delinquents in elementary school. I thought I had to talk seriously once, so I called my son and his wife. I'll continue to help with childcare, but not receiving parental love during the crucial early years is... Hold on. What do you mean by not receiving love? Can you see love? Are you a god? Listen without joking when I'm talking seriously. Mother-in-law, I'm happy you're taking care of Lucas, but saying he's not receiving love is an exaggeration, isn't it? I love Lucas more than anyone. Parents have an educational policy, so don't interfere. If you have an educational policy, let me hear it. That's a corporate secret. You don't have an educational policy, do you? I do, mother-in-law. Your words are going too far. If you say more, I'll get angry too. I was at a loss for words. This conversation is going nowhere. I thought my relationship with Rosemary would go well at first, but is this her true feeling? As for Devin, I feel nothing but despair now. Maybe I spoiled him because he was an only child. The year Lucas was to enter elementary school, I decided to go to my son and his wife's house during the New Year's holiday. Then Rosemary calmly said to me on the phone, Lucas is entering elementary school this year, so please splurge on monetary gifts. I understand. I remember my childhood. Before going to relatives' houses for New Year's, my father sternly told us children, your uncles and aunts have prepared monetary gifts, so never ask, where are the monetary gifts? On your own. I think it's an important lesson. So I was surprised when Rosemary said to splurge on monetary gifts. But have times changed? When I went to my son and his wife's house, I was utterly shocked by the first thing Rosemary said. Lucas, Grandma will give you monetary gifts. I wonder how much it is. I'm excited. I must have taught Devin strictly like my father did when he was a child, but he must have forgotten long ago. I was planning to give monetary gifts at the right timing, but I had to give up and decided to give monetary gifts to Lucas now. Lucas, look inside. How much is in there? Lucas looked inside. $300, huh? A bit less than I expected, but it's fine, I guess. With that, Devin put the $300 in his breast pocket. $300 won't be enough for a trip, but we can go out for drinks. It would be nice to have a fancy steak and wine for a change. Fancy steak is like $200, right? Not nearly enough. What on earth are this couple talking about? Use the monetary gifts for Lucas. It should be enough for an amusement park or zoo. I told you not to interfere in someone else's family. How we use the money we received is our business. This is common sense. I wanted to keep quiet, but when I saw Lucas's lonely face, I couldn't help but speak up. No, it's common sense that children use the monetary gifts they receive. Devin, it was the same when you were a child, right? If the child is still young, it's common sense to use that monetary gift for the child. It might have been that way in mother-in-law's time, but it's different now. Can you stop bringing up outdated things? Who are you talking to like that? Hey, if you talk to Rosemary like that, I won't allow it. I'll say it to people who don't understand unless told. The mood turned hostile. Rosemary clicked her tongue audibly and glared at me with a challenging smile. Don't act so high and mighty over such a small amount. Never deal with me again. A small amount? $300 is not a small amount, especially when they're not particularly wealthy themselves. Starting the new year with such boring talk. People who can't read the room are so troublesome. Just go home, old lady. If you're going to say that, I have my thoughts too. Fine, I'll leave, gladly. But Devin, this isn't just me leaving. It's a permanent goodbye. What? What are you talking about? If you're going to say that to your mother, you must be prepared, right? Fine. If that's the case, let's sever our parent-child relationship. Mother-in-law, you're jumping to conclusions. I'm no longer your parent or child. We're strangers. Give up on the inheritance, too. Hold on, that's a different matter. As I walked towards the entrance, I muttered to myself, I have a house and land, and about $200,000 in savings, I think. Maybe I'll donate all my assets to underprivileged children. Don't joke around like that! You can't do that! I left without looking back. Not seeing my grandson is painful, but I enjoyed my free time. Spring came and Lucas was finally starting elementary school, but I was worried about after school. Are my son and his wife both working, or will Rosemary take care of Lucas? Will they lie about working and leave him in an after-school program? As I was thinking about this, Lucas came to my house. Lucas, what's wrong? No one's home. What about the after-school program? What's that? They just gave me a key and told me to spend time as I like. What a thing to do. I felt anger and made up my mind. Alright, have dinner here. If you have homework, let's study together. Really? I had cut ties with my child, so I braced myself for my son and his wife to come yelling. But it was the opposite. Is Lucas at mother-in-law's house? Well, if Lucas wants to, can we ask you to take care of him? If that's what you two want, it's fine with me. After hanging up the phone, Lucas looked like he was about to cry. Can I live at Grandma's house forever? There's no one at home. Is that so? I could imagine. A baby needs constant attention. But an elementary school child can be left alone, so perhaps the couple is out, enjoying themselves at night. There might be complete neglect of childcare. Then Lucas, live with me. I'm glad. I don't think of them as parents anyway. Shocking words came out of Lucas's mouth. I was taken aback, but I quietly hugged Lucas. I may not be able to replace his mother, but I resolved to raise this child to the best of my ability. Lucas turned 9, became a 3rd grader, and joined the drama club at school. He was praised by his teacher for his acting and was thrilled, telling me about his school day with a beaming smile. These kinds of conversations are essential for parents and children, but unfortunately, Rosemary doesn't seem to understand. She doesn't even call to check on Lucas. One day, Lucas came home in an excited state and started talking non-stop. I got scouted! I might be able to enter the entertainment industry! I've always dreamed of becoming an actor! Calm down, Lucas. Tell me slowly, from the beginning. Who scouted you? Here, I got a business card. I'm going to be in a movie. The director is very particular. I looked at the card. It said Mr. Hawkins, a well-known talent agency that I recognized, but business cards can easily be forged. I calmly organized Lucas's excited and jumbled story. A movie director and Mr. Hawkins were looking for a child who fit a role's image, and when they saw Lucas in the school drama club, the director exclaimed, "This is the one!" And Mr. Hawkins scouted him. Lucas had always dreamed of becoming an actor. The bigger the dream, the better, I think. Really? If you start with a small goal, you'll end up accomplishing nothing in life. I want to support your dream of becoming an actor, but I'd like to meet this Mr. Hawkins and talk more about it. Is that okay? Of course! He is a really nice and kind person. When I called the number on the card, Mr. Hawkins said he wanted to meet right away. 2 days later, I invited Mr. Hawkins to our home, and Lucas was present for the conversation. We're producing a blockbuster this time. I was surprised to hear the director's name. He's so famous that no one doesn't know him. So you think Lucas fits the image? The director is very particular and uncompromising, but he saw Lucas and said, "This is the one." The role is the main character's child, and we can't think of anyone but Lucas for it. Mr. Hawkins' words were so dramatic that I became cautious. We're thinking of signing an exclusive contract. To protect Lucas's well-being, we'll prioritize his studies until he graduates from high school. I became even more cautious at this increasingly attractive offer. An exclusive contract? We're considering $50,000 as a signing bonus. Oh my. Is that too low? Certainly for minors, parental consent is required. When I mentioned this, Lucas's face looked like he was about to cry. My grandma is my parent. If grandma agrees, there's no problem. Those people have no right to object. If your parents object, I'll make sure to persuade them. I felt passion and sincerity in this man. Once the contract is ready, may I take it and review it? Seeing my caution, Mr. Hawkins smiled. Of course, that's fine. Afterward, the conversation progressed, and I received the contract. I knew a lawyer named Mr. Grint, and I showed him the contract. I thought I wouldn't be able to spot any dangerous clauses, since I'm an amateur. I've read the whole thing, and there is no problem. I hope the dream comes true. Is $50,000 a standard amount? It's a rather high amount. You don't hear about it often. Soon, Devin called. I heard Lucas got scouted. He was supposed to be disowned, but this audacity was criminal. What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. I heard it from Lucas's drama club advisor. I'm coming over now. My son and his wife rudely entered my house and asked with suspicious smiles. So, where's the $50,000? You agree to Lucas's movie debut? Of course! He's my son after all. I knew he had talent. We didn't raise him wrong. I wanted to sarcastically ask, when did you raise him? But I held back, tired of arguing. When will the $50,000 be deposited? That's none of your business. It's very much our business, mother-in-law. Lucas is still a minor, so we, as parents, must take care of such a large sum. No, I will take care of it. If I give you two the $50,000, it will be gone overnight. I thought Rosemary would be angry, but she laughed. Funny! You still have a sharp wit, mother-in-law. I'm not joking. I was amazed at how they seemed willing to endure any insult for the sake of $50,000. Let's all support Lucas's dream instead of worrying about the money. The entertainment industry is a dangerous and harsh place. That hasn't changed. It's not as dangerous as it used to be. Rosemary's thinking was still naive. By the way, about the inheritance, I found out that I can still receive the minimum legal share as a biological son. Did you really think I knew nothing and tried to threaten me? I've cut ties with you, so I won't give you a cent. Devin's smile vanished. Stop messing around or I'll really get angry. Are you planning to keep the $50,000 all to yourself? It would make sense if there were no parents, but since there are, it's strange for a grandmother, not a parent, to take care of the $50,000. It seemed they were more interested in the $50,000 than in supporting Lucas's dream. Were they dreaming of living luxuriously on the contract money if their child became a star? If I didn't wake them up now, these two would never lead a decent life. It's merciful to give them a reality check. Do you think I'd cut ties on a whim? Stop making a fool of people. You clearly neglected your child. You have no right to claim to be Lucas's parents now. Leave at once. Mother-in-law, you're saying something awful. When did I neglect my child? I'm not your mother-in-law anymore. Hey, I'm calling you mother-in-law out of consideration. Should I just call you an old hag then? Oh, your true colors are showing, aren't they? Shut up! Just die and hand over the inheritance. I sighed and called out to the two people behind them. Attorney Grint, do you see now that I wasn't exaggerating? I see it clearly, said the hidden lawyer, Mr. Grint, as he stepped forward, causing my son and his wife to tense up. I'm lawyer Roger Grint. Nice to meet you. Why is a lawyer showing up here? Indeed, as you said, as a biological son, you have the right to receive a minimum inheritance, even if your name isn't in the will. However, if you harass your mother, you may lose that right. When did I harass her? This isn't a joke. Harassment includes not only physical but also mental abuse. Daily verbal abuse and insults qualify as mental harassment. And I clearly heard it with my own ears, just now. Wait a minute. I have recorded all your abusive words in my notebook because they were so terrible. You're lying, right? If disinheritance is confirmed, even a biological son cannot receive the property. It's essentially reaping what you've sown. Disinheritance? Attorney Grint approached Devin, who had a stunned look on his face. It's hard to believe, but you left Lucas with Mrs. Giddens and were out partying, weren't you? No, well... As Devin tried to answer vaguely, Attorney Grint glared at him, raising his voice so it echoed throughout the house. You were out partying, weren't you? Yes. That's unacceptable. Even if you believed it was for work, you should be endlessly grateful to the parent who took care of your child. What was that verbal abuse earlier? Have some shame. Attorney Grint's furious shouting, with a devilish look, made my son and his wife tremble. Leave. You don't need to worry about Lucas. They left the house with frightened expression. Attorney Grint turned a stern face to me. I think you, Mrs. Giddens, also bear some responsibility. You spoiled your son too much. You should have made him realize his mistakes earlier. You're right. I deeply regret it. I had no room to argue, but my son and his wife didn't get off that easily. Despite not having high-paying jobs, they partied too much and ran out of money. Devin was scammed. He fell for a get-rich-quick scheme that promised $10,000 a month, borrowed money, paid a high fee for information, and started a business, only to realize it was a scam without making a cent. That's when Rosemary's luck ran out. One night, a desperate-looking Rosemary came to my house. Please help me, mother-in-law. What happened? I'll make up for my rudeness for the rest of my life. Just please help me. You don't have to forgive me. Just help me. I let Rosemary into the house. Apparently, while looking for a high-paying job to pay off Devon's debt, she was scouted by an entertainment agency. She was happy to be scouted, just like Lucas, and went straight to the studio. She signed a contract for a cosmetics commercial, but then she was forced to appear in their productions. It turned out to be adult content, and she realized too late that it was a devilish company. When I refused, they threatened me with a penalty of $100,000 to be paid, all at once. If I can't pay, they said I have to perform. I'm scared. I feel like my heart is going to jump out of my mouth from fear. You're the only one I can rely on, mother-in-law. Please don't abandon me. Help me. Seeing Rosemary on the brink of ruin, I felt that there was indeed such a thing as divine punishment. Disrespecting the child you were blessed with, berating and belittling the parent who worries and warns you. With such a wicked heart, happiness is impossible. How can I help you? Please lend me the money, I beg you. What about Devon? He ran away. I can't reach him anymore. How pathetic. I bear some responsibility for this too. Rosemary, I don't have a single cent to give you right now. With a look of despair, Rosemary whispered in a small voice, I understand. You won't forgive me now. It doesn't matter what happens to me. I don't think it doesn't matter what happens to you. Huh? As Rosemary looked up, I said, I'll introduce you to Attorney Grint, so consult with him. If you give those people $100,000, they'll think you can come up with large sums of money, and they'll extort you for the rest of your life. You need to sever ties with them, completely. Thank you. I'll never be rude again. Am I being too soft? Should I have pushed her away? But this isn't just Rosemary's problem. If those bad people find out that Lucas is her biological son, they might target him in the entertainment industry. I wanted to avoid that at all costs. Afterward, Lucas's filming as a child actor in a blockbuster movie directed by a famous director went smoothly. Rosemary's situation was resolved by Attorney Grint as well. With the father gone and the mother unable to financially support the child, I officially became Lucas's guardian and supported his dream. Life is never smooth sailing, so Lucas will surely face trials someday. When that time comes, I want to be there for him as much as I can.